Hi, this is Steve Pierce with Framework Productions, and in this season of Adorama Beyond the Sound, we're going to take you through most everything you need to know about recording live audio, working with multiple cameras at a time, lighting for a live setting, plus directing, editing, and all the post-production techniques associated with working with live events. This is Adorama Beyond the Sound. Hey guys, what's up? This is Steve with Framework, and today we are looking at the second part of the editing series for Beyond the Sound. Today we're going to be looking at building a flow and working with multiple takes of the same track, so like music video style editing. If you want to see how to set up multi-clips and how to build the project, check out part 1. So in this track here, this is a track by the artist Tali called a song called Plunge. What we did and what we're looking at here is we have 3 different takes that I've already manually synced up with the song, and we did 3 performances, 3 live performances the day of, and Tali picked their favorite version, favorite take, and that was take number 3, which is the one I've put on top of the layer here. And that's the one we had mixed and we're going to be editing to. This is the one I'm going to call our natural take. This is a button here for the toggle multi-camera view. If you don't see that, you can click right here on the plus sign. And you'll notice that I have V3. Again, remember this is the natural take. I have this on top of the other 2. So if I turn that off, you can see this is another track and another track here. Well, because I have this highlighted, I'm looking at the multiple angles from this shot, right? So I'm seeing the 5 different cameras, 4 red heliums, 1 A7S of this take. If I swap this to video 2 instead of video 3 here in the sidebar, now I'm looking at the 5 cameras from take number 2. And likewise, if I slip it down to video 1, I'm looking at the coverage from take 1. Let's look at the natural take here and do a watch down. I'm just going to do a little bit and let's see how this sequence would work in time.
There's never a right time for it. It's never what you want. Working within illusion.
So I'm going to go through and kind of make some kind of little line cut of just the natural take. When I was watching it, I didn't see a lot that was going on. So this could be a good section to examine what would happen with multiple takes.
There's never a right time for it. It's never what you want. Working within illusion when you've broken all your walls. Rise up, beat it, fill your body light. Go on, greet it, sail into the night.
Okay, so that is not a super strong edit, that section. So how do we improve that? That's our baseline. So now why don't we swap into the second take and let's see what happens in here. So already, if we look at the second take, I've got a close-up, I got kind of a nicer medium dolly shot, and I got some details here, some synthesizers. There's a lot going on here that I could start to integrate. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit and let's take a look at the same sections. I really like this drum thing. As soon as he hits there, I want to go somewhere else here, right on that rise up. On that hit, so I'm going to move him back, hold Alt and press the left arrow key, just a couple of frames. Okay, so I know that that's where I want my cut to come, timing wise. Now where do I want to go? I can go back to my original take, which is nice. I'm going to real quick just check and make sure now in this flow there isn't something better. I'm going to click back up to number 3. So we didn't quite get it anywhere. So I'm not missing anything. I'm going to jump back down to take 2 and keep looking. Because I don't really like going back to a close-up usually, but look what she does with her eyes right here. I'm going to pull this out just so we can see a little bit more lead on it. That's a beautiful moment. So I'm going to try and connect them across these 3 takes.
There's never a right time for it. It's never what you want. Working within illusion when you've broken all your walls. Rise up, meet it, feel your body light. Go on, greet it, sail into the night.
Okay, that's good. And now let's look at this one more time from take 3 perspective. So now we've got 2 takes integrated. I'm going to click down into the 3rd take. And now again, remember we're looking at this window here for our, what is our program? What have we cut together and what's our final product so far?
There's never a right time for it. It's never what you want. Working within illusion when you've broken all your walls. Rise up, meet it, feel your body light. Go on, greet it, sail into the night.
So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through another song and I'm gonna do this exact process and just check in with you and show you how the edit looks when I do just a natural pass, then I add on the 2nd take, and then I add on the 3rd take. And you'll start seeing how they really complement each other and grow very quickly.
Living in New York, you got a wide choice. The next 10 years.
Okay, this track is by the band Eden James, and we did the same thing we did with Tolly, where we did 3 takes of a song. This song's called New York. They picked the track that they liked their live performance of the best. In this case, it was take 3. So I, once again, if you look at my sequence here, I've taken take 3, I have it on top, and then take 2 next below it, and take 1 below that. So take 3 is my natural take, and I've gone through and made a first pass here of the natural take, and let's look at what that looks like.
To every time, like an animal instinct, a magnet to my mind. She's living in New York. It's a great town. Whatever her
So that's 3 medium shots in a row. I don't really love that. 4 in a row, don't love that. But these are nice shots, nice little moments. Just kind of becoming the same, and it's kind of losing excitement. Okay, so one thing I want to call your attention to, this is what I'll do sometimes, is whenever I know that I'm going to look at other tracks or other takes, or there's a section to me that isn't really working, rather than get bogged down on it, I'll make a little note. So like right here, I'm like bass or drums, and you make a little note like this by just highlighting the sequence, pressing M, and then I hold Alt and drag out on it, and then you can double click it and name it something, notes for later, you know, and you can leave that and it shows up in your sequence. That's a super fast and handy way to keep track of something. Okay, so I went through and I made a 2nd pass of Eden James, New York, and let's take a look at how the edit has shifted quite a bit here.
reckless and crazy, drawn to every time, like an animal instinct, a magnet to my mind. She's living in New York. It's a great town. Whatever her fancy is, she'll find it here. And living in New York.
Okay, so there's some really cool things happening in here. Obviously, in this 2nd take, as I turn my multi-camera back on, just so we can look at some of the angles, already we're getting a lot of variation. We're getting some close-ups on the drums, which is kind of interesting. The close-up on Eden, the lead singer, helps a lot. Just another thing that happens, I just put this clip up here on top just so I could show you this one thing. What happens a lot of times when you're doing multiple takes is the takes that aren't the natural take will be way out of sync. But that doesn't necessarily mean you need to abandon them. If I actually look at where this shot is where we start, listen and watch, you'll see how out of sync this shot is. So it's off by quite a bit. How did I fix that? Pretty easy. I found something for me that was really easy. These drums hits, these boom bop bop, those are easy already, but once he hits that cymbal, that gives me a pretty distinct idea of where that moment should go. So real quick way, I just grab the clip, I go Shift, Alt, and upper arrow sign, so this is right above the period or the comma, and you can move. If you hold Shift, that's 10 frames at a time, I believe. If you don't hold Shift, it's just Alt in these, it's 1 frame at a time. So I'm just gonna move it, say, 7 frames back, so that's just kind of my guess here. Okay, cool. So now I've gone through and I've added in the first take with Eden James, New York. I'll highlight this to you if you look at my sequence here, just so you can see how much of this actually gets used in here. You can see this layer here, this row is take 3, this layer here is take 2, and then this is our natural take in this row right here. Let's take a look at what this looks like with the third take added in.
Drawn to every time, like an animal instinct, a magnet to my mind. She's living in New York. It's a great town, whatever her fancy is.
Okay, so you can see a lot of things changed in there. A lot of that take made it. Because we got these great wides that kind of come in and they open the room up. All of a sudden you get to see it, and that's mixed in with these great close-ups and these awesome details that come in. That we only got that because we did it 3 times and we were educated by the 3rd time what little moments we specifically wanted, but we had the context within the other 2. So now let's take a look at another track that is a totally different vibe. My three philosophies are follow the lyric, then follow the beat, then follow the action. Buka Gaze is an interesting mix because a lot of times they don't have lyrics while they're playing their really interesting parts, so you're following a lot of the beat and the action, and they have a lot of give and take with their instrumentation. So let's check out just the single natural take, just kind of the rough edit I just did. Now I've added in the second take of Your Face Left Before You from Buka Gaze. So again, if we look at my timeline here, what you're looking at in this row is from the second take, what you're looking at in this row is from the first. It's almost a 50-50 split. Let's take a look here at how this plays down. One thing I love to look for is reveals within the frame. So this shot here specifically, the second shot, starts in her face, goes down to the guitar, right for the end of the hit. That again goes into a close-up, 2 close-ups of the guitars. That again, technically, if you said that out loud, you're gonna go from a close-up to tilt down to another close-up, to another close-up, to another close-up. It sounds kind of crazy, but for me, it's disjointing in the edit, but exciting, and it fits the music. Let's go to where she starts singing right here. If you're mixing takes, you're gonna cut from the singer to the singer. For instance, let's look at this shot right here. So you see how I'm cutting from her to her. If you're going to do that, I usually will try and do that within the same take, be it the natural take or another take, because if you start cutting across takes, it can work, and it does work, and you do it very frequently, but you can do yourself a lot of favors if you can find the shots you want back to back that are in the same take. Here's another shot I want to give you one more example of. I pulled it up here and labeled it. This is a perfect example of where we didn't get it. In real time, if you look right here, this is what we actually got here. I'm going to drop this down to 1/4 resolution, but we're on his feet. And I didn't catch that on set. I was like, oh no, that shot doesn't work and I want to get his guitar. So I didn't actually get there until the next time around with that rhythm. So what I did was I pulled up that same shot. I took camera 5 here, duplicate. I want to just turn this off so I can leave it in time. I took this, I duplicated it up. That's me just dragging, holding Alt, and I let go, and that just made a copy of that clip. And all I did was use Y tool, and I scrubbed across, as I was like, I know that music, I listened to the music, and he plays this same thing one more time right here. where he's kind of going down and up the neck, and then I just found where it's synced in with the actual song. Some philosophies and tips to remember from me is when you're cutting with music, cut with the lyric first, then cut with the beat, and finally cut with the action. That's my order of preference when I'm doing it. And if you're working with multiple multicam clips, remember, put your natural take on top so that you always have that. And then I layer the other ones on top of that, going second take above that, and then the next layer above that, the following take, so that I can always track where my takes came from in case I ever need to look back or recreate a moment or revise a moment. Thank you guys very much for watching. And if you want to see the rest of the music videos and how we lit, how we shot this, what cameras we used, and how we did the audio mix, all of that is available at youtube.com/AdoramaTV.